Hello there, beautiful beings, and welcome to my sacred space. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Raven, and today I am going to be showcasing all of my tarot decks. I wanted to do a year-ender deck collection video for all of my decks, but I just realized that if I do both oracle decks and tarot decks together in one video, it's gonna take a long time and it seems like a gargantuan task. So I have decided to just split them. So I'll be doing a video for all tarot decks and another one for all oracle decks. And tonight we are going to check out my tarot deck collection. So why is this video coming out in November? Well, because I started this channel last year, around November last year. So I figured, you know, it's a good way to kind of like celebrate my channel's 1 year. And I want to say thank you so much to every one of you who subscribed or, you know, who have been watching the channel. I'm so grateful for you guys for checking out my videos. But I'm truly grateful for every one of you. So yeah, I don't want to do my intro long because we have a long way to go. So I'm gonna cut this now and we're gonna start with the first deck. So we're starting the video, of course, with my first ever tarot deck. This is the original Rider-Waite Tarot Pack by A.E. White and Panel Coleman Smith. This was a deck that was given to me on my birthday in 2010, and this is the deck that got me started with tarot. I'm pretty sure you've seen this deck already. I'm just gonna go through some of the images. I am a Rider-Waite Smith girl, so you know, I kind of stuck to my roots so to speak, because most of the decks that I have, well, actually, yeah, most of them are RWS clones or inspired. So, you know, I'm pretty sure you've seen these cards. I mean, who hasn't? But I adore this deck. I love this deck because, you know, it has stuck with me throughout the years. And even during the time wherein I stopped using or stopped reading tarot for a little while because of my career, I stopped. And even when I got back, it still welcomed me. You know, I still was able to connect with this deck very easily despite the lull in our relationship. So I'm very grateful for this deck. I love the images here. It's very, you know, straightforward to me because of course this is the deck that, you know, taught me how to read tarot. And well, you know, I initially started really just going through the guidebook, but after like weeks I was able to pick up on the images and I was reading intuitively quite easily. So there you go. That is the OG, my OG. This is the original Rider-Waite Smith Tarot Pack. Okay, next up we have, this is not going to be in any order, okay, I'm just grabbing the first deck that I see. So this is the Tarot of the Divine by Yoshi Tani. It's a very pretty deck. I love it. I think it was the bestseller for 2020 if I, you know, remember correctly, or 2021, I don't remember, but this deck is gorgeous. It comes with, actually no, it doesn't come with a book, but the creator, Yoshi Tani, actually published a book, and I have it as well. So this is the it's dusty, Beneath the Moon book, and it has like the stories of the images in the cards. So it's pretty cool to read this like for, I don't know, like leisurely reading or light reading. It's fun to go through it. But if you just purchase this deck, it comes with this guidebook, which is colored, so I think that's pretty cool. And you have like all the significant information that you would need to read or to use the cards for readings. So onto the cards. This has I'm gonna stand up for a little while just to check if everything is on camera. So this has a linen finish. It is gorgeous. I just noticed that this deck is kind of like bowed now. I haven't used it for months to be honest, and it's bowed, but I don't know, maybe from the way that I stored it. But anyway, like I said, linen finish, lovely colors, and it is very, very vibrant. It has this intricate border there. The title would be down here. And of course, each and every one of the cards represent like a fairy tale or a folklore from, you know, everywhere in the world. Like this one's a little mermaid from Denmark. I'm not really familiar with all of them. Oh, this is the La Llorona from Mexico. So yeah, very beautiful. I enjoy reading this deck, using this deck for my readings. I guess I think the last time that I used it, I put it somewhere like at the bottom of the pile, so I didn't get to use it, but I used it in my most recent reading, so we're still pretty good. Alright, so next one we have the Everyday Witch Tarot by Deborah Blake, with artwork by Elizabeth Alba. So this is a Llewellyn deck, so you would have the typical Llewellyn kit box. You have this thick guidebook, and it's hefty, it's heavy. So this pretty guidebook, which has a lot of information, and what I like about this one, aside from it being colored, is that there are parts here wherein you can put your notes. There you go, you have notes, like an allotted space wherein you can, I don't know, just write your thoughts about a card, you know. And they also have quotes and open-ended questions, which is pretty cool. And I think this deck is going to be amazing for beginners. If you're a beginner and you're not keen to start off with the OG, this would be a great alternative. The images are lovely, they're vibrant, they're colorful. I love how each card has a cat in it. And I love how they used fun colors, and this is a deck that is quite modernized, I would say, because where is that? The Chariot card for this deck, oh, there you go, is, she's riding a motorcycle, and I think it's really cool. And that's one fun thing about this deck, is that it's not scary. It doesn't have the scary images that a regular tarot deck or RWS deck would have. Like devil, look at the devil here. It's just this guy with, luring or tempting the kids with ice cream and money, and the cat trying to prevent them, like, don't do it. But yeah, so I think this is a deck that's good for kids or teens who are just starting or who want to start reading tarot. So there you go. That's the Everyday Witch Tarot by Deborah Blake. Oopsie. Okay, next one is the Pagan Tarot. This is by Gina M. Pace. Okay, this is a gift by Anna of Anacorian Sense. It came in with this cool guidebook. Again, a lot of information. This is a low Scarabeo deck. Very modern as well. So it's a mix of modern and I guess traditional images. So here they actually changed the title of the cards. But it has this glossy finish. I'm not sure if you can see from the camera, but yeah, it has this glossy finish. It's very smooth, and I noticed that the images are very intuitive. You can relate well, or you will be able to relate well with the images here. I think it's cool. And then what are those? I think that's that could be a signature of the artist. I just noticed it now. But yeah, so that is the, look at that, the Three of Swords. That is the Pagan Tarot by Gina M. Pace. Gosh, I'm sorry for... this is a deck published by Lois Scarabeo. Next we have the Mermaid Tarot. This is by Lisa Robertson, illustrated by Julie Dillon. This is another Llewellyn deck, so similar packaging with the side flap, magnetic side flap, and again, this is even thicker than the Everyday Witch Tarot deck. Look at that. And it's colored as well, and I love the paper that they use. I love that it's fully colored. It's very interesting to read. However, I feel like the images here are not like super... Oh, they also have the part for the notes. And yeah, what I noticed here is that, the images, they kind of twisted it a little bit, but of course still, I guess, loosely based on RWS, but, the meaning is still there, okay? For the cards, they have lovely backing. Look at that. pretty packaging, and then the gorgeous backing is just, it captivates me every time I look at it. So here you would have the images. Of course, you would have mermaids, mermen, and you know, sea creatures, sea witches, whales, all of that. I love it. I love that it's all blues and greens. Like, I love the teal color, so very beautiful. That is the Mermaid Tarot by Lisa Robertson. Moving on to the next deck. Gosh, I don't have space anymore. This is the Modern Spellcaster's Tarot by Melanie Marquis, with artwork by Scott Murphy. Again, another Llewellyn deck, similar packaging. And look at this. Guidebook is real hefty. You know, I guess Llewellyn decks are pretty cool because if you're a beginner with tarot, you will definitely learn a lot with, you know, the guidebooks. So I actually have several other Llewellyn decks that I have since then rehomed. But yeah, again, colored images. You have a description here. You have reversed and upright meanings and magical uses as well if you're going to use this deck or the cards for spell casting. I have edged mine in this bronze color to match the I was hoping to match this one, but I kind of matched with the packaging. I think it's still cute. So here, the images would of course be related to witches and spellcasting. Again, loosely based from RWS, but you will get the idea. You know, it's still there. I think it's pretty. It's not that vibrant. It has, you know, some cards are, but most of it has that kind of like nighttime feel. Do you know what I mean? Like it's a little bit muted or toned down, or it, you know, it has a filter that makes it look a little bit darker. But other than that, it's still pretty. Look at the devil card, creepy. But yeah, there you go. That's the Spellcaster, Modern Spellcaster's Tarot by Melanie Marquis by Llewellyn. Okay, next up we have, this is the Before Tarot by Corinne Kenner with artwork by Ian and Simona Rossi. This is another Lo Scarabeo deck. So they have pretty much the same packaging as Llewellyn, but of course Lo Scarabeo decks are from Italy. Oh, the Pagan Tarot is also by Lo Scarabeo, so you might notice it is quite smaller or more compact than the Llewellyn deck. So this is the guidebook. I think, you know, this is the, I would say, like, best guidebook that you know you can have for a beginner. If you're going to stick to the RWS system, this is really like the best. You would have a lot of information, a lot of information. Plus, if you get because I also have the original, the OG, so I didn't get any other aside from the After Tarot. I didn't get Lo Scarabeo's Universal Tarot. Is it Universal? Yeah, the Universal Tarot. I got the mini, but I ended up rehoming that. But I have this and this, so you know, it's pretty cool to see them like side by side. And information, it has a wealth of information. I kid you not, like even symbolisms and all of that. So you know, Corinne Kenner did a fantastic job with this guidebook. Now onto the packaging. To be honest, I received mine like this. Not really happy with that, but you know, it's just the packaging. For the cardstock, this one is, you know, I love my Lo Scarabeo decks, but this one is kind of like not really that keen. I mean, it's okay. It's just that it's a little bit thicker than the plasticky, bendy Lo Scarabeo decks cardstock that I prefer. So it's quite hard for me to shuffle this deck because look at it, it's so thick. But you know, on the bright side, it's not as thick as the Modern Witch Tarot, which I will show you later. Let me try to give it a shuffle for you guys. Yeah, no, I suck at shuffling. it's too thick for me. So whenever I read with this, I just shuffle it this way. It is easy to shuffle. I don't know, I just try not to shuffle it quite ferociously as you know I would normally do, because you know it might ruin the sides. But hey, there you go. Look at the images. So this is the, is it the before? Yeah, this is the before tarot. So this deck is quite cool because it gives you the artist's idea of what's happening before the usual tarot scenes that we're used to. Do you know what I mean? Like for the Fool, before the Fool fell, this is what he was doing according to the creators. I think it's a pretty cool idea. It's really awesome. So there, that is the Before Tarot by Corinne Kenner. Now I'm gonna smoosh this here. And since we checked out the Before Tarot, I'm gonna show you next the After Tarot. This is again a Los Scarabeo deck, and I didn't realize that this deck has a kit version. I actually bought this first, and then I got the Before Tarot because I love this deck. Yeah, but unfortunately, the cardstock is not the same. This is my favorite cardstock. It's super sturdy. You know, people might think it's thin. It is thin, but it's plasticky, it's sturdy, it snaps back. It's perfect. So here, if the After Tarot shows you, of course, the scenes before, this would show you the scenes after the usual tarot. So you see the devil, you have the two human creatures, the couple there, like doing their thing. You know, the Fool has fallen, but you know, he's still I don't know, he's still chill, you know, he doesn't care. Like his bag is falling, but he's still smelling the rose, which signifies, you know, the purity, you know, of this Fool, of new beginnings. So I think it's pretty cool, and I really do enjoy using this deck. I love the images here, and like same with the Before Tarot. What I love about using, you know, these RWS decks that have some sort of like a twist, what I love about it is that, you know, you can also inject your, it's kind of like also an oracle deck. Like if there are some things that's not there from the usual deck, like you can also use it. So I read intuitively, so this is really perfect for me. So there you go, After Tarot by Los Scarabeo. Oh yeah, and Los Scarabeo decks doesn't come with at least the ones that are just in the top boxes, it doesn't come with a full guidebook. It's just a little white book that you saw earlier. So yeah, there you go. Next one, since this one's on the top, we're going to go with the Zombie Tarot. Okay, initially I thought, okay, this is a novelty deck, you know, I'm not going to be able to use it. It's fun, it's nice to have, but I never really got to rehoming it because I enjoy the images here. I love it. It's so cool. Even the packaging, there's cat hair. Even the packaging is funny. It is, of course, an ammunition box, but the cards are so cool. They're so cool. It came in with this guidebook. So not a lot of information, but you would have the keywords there, and yeah. And then cardstock. It is quite thick. It's more of like a board instead of like plasticky, you know. But it is sturdy, and I'm pretty sure this will, you know, last long. Shuffle it this way just because. Oh, the backing, it's not reversible. And there, reminds me of like, I don't know, the era of pin-up girls, you know, 40s? Was it the 40s? I'm not sure. It's pretty cool. Look at that. Amazing, right? And again, with decks that are loosely based on RWS, you know, you can use the images to kind of like inject more information with your reading. So I think it's pretty cool. I love this deck. I think it's awesome. I'm not rehoming this anytime soon. So it's also, I guess, maybe one of the reasons why I'm doing this video as well is for me to decide which decks I'm gonna end up rehoming soon. But so far I haven't seen one that I'm keen to rehome. This is the Beauty of Horror deck by Alan Robert. Came in with this guidebook. I think it's cool. I got this for Halloween, of course, because why not? So I think the guidebook is cool because yes, you have a lot of information, but at the same time, you know, it is very colorful. Even though the background is black, I think it's an amazing deck. guidebook rather. And then let's have a look at the images or the cards. The thing about this deck is it's look at it shakes inside, but I don't really mind. This has, I don't know, is that linen? I think that's also linen cardstock, but it is like super thin. It is terrible, but terribly thin, but not really that bad. I'm not really a cardstock snob unless I'm just super disappointed with it, like the even like what's the name of that deck? I forgot. The True Heart Intuitive Tarot. I ended up rehoming that one. I just really could not, reconcile my dislike of the cardstock. That was the worst deck, that the cardstock that I've ever owned. So I ended up rehoming it. Yeah, look at the images. I'm not sure if you can see them. Okay. So the images are pretty awesome. Look at that. They're scary, but at the same time, they're able to convey the messages, and they still stick to the meanings of, of course, instead of a pregnant lady, we have a little kid here. Reminds me of the witches from Macbeth. Was it Macbeth or Hamlet? I don't remember. Let me know. So yeah, this is a cool deck. It's fun. I think it's, even though the images would, frighten some people, I think it's not really that scary or gory, so I'm pretty cool with it. It's comic book style, so yeah, I like it. Oh, and one thing, one time I was reading with this deck. Oh yeah, so you can see like this card. I was reading with this deck, and I didn't realize that my beverage, the condensation from my beverage was like on the desk already, and this deck ended up absorbing the water, and while it was there, it flipped, and I was like, what happened? And then I realized, it absorbed the water, and it's been like this ever since. But it's fine, I don't mind. That is the Beauty of Tarot. Oh, sorry, Beauty of Horror Tarot by Alan Robert. Okay, next up, we have the Psychic Tarot of the Heart by John Holland. This is both an oracle deck and a tarot deck, so this one will make double appearances in my videos. Okay, I edged mine in this green color, which I think is cute. This deck has this huge, or this thick, chunky guidebook, which has a lot of information in it. Also, this deck doesn't have the court cards, but they replaced it with chakra cards. Just gonna go through it. Oh, there you go, May Chakra. So I'm just gonna go through it quickly. You also don't have the title, the typical title of the cards. Sadness and Isolation. So this is the Three of Swords, I think. This is the Eight of Cups. So it's like that. It's color coded, and everything that you need to know would already. This is the Magician. You also have the number as well, so that helps. But everything else that you need to know would already be in the thick guidebook. So that is the Psychic Tarot for the Heart by John Holland. Next up is the Psychic Tarot, the regular one. So this one comes in this blue color. This deck is really heavy. I love the purple. Okay, so guidebook is the same, pretty much, different fonts, but of course information is different as well. And then this lovely backing. I like the backing of this one. I guess because it's purple, but it is really nice. Oh, and by the way, the size of this one, if you haven't noticed, it's thicker or wider than the typical tarot deck. So, it's more of like an oracle deck size card. This is, of course, you can see the difference again with the title. So this is the Devil card right here. Patience, fertility, recognition and reward, intuition. So the keywords are good because they're explain. Gosh, I kind of like blacked out there for a little while because yeah, never mind. She reminds me of Linda Blair from the Exorcist. So so yeah, the keywords coincide with the actual meanings of the cards, which I think is pretty cool. And similar with the Psychic Tarot for the Heart, this one doesn't have court cards, and it is color coded. So there you go. That is the Psychic Tarot Oracle deck by John Holland. This is published by Hay House. So whenever I do my readings using this deck, it functions as both, of course, a tarot deck and an oracle deck for me. Next up is the Dancing in the Dark Tarot by Los Carabeo. This one is pretty cool. This is by Gianfranco Pereno. Okay, so I don't think I showed you earlier how a typical Los Carabeo little white book looks like. So this is it. Their decks or their guidebooks usually come with different languages, so you would have 4, sometimes 5. So you know, information in English would just be up to, I don't know, like several pages, like maybe first 25 pages, first 30 pages, and then you go on to the different language. But yeah, so cardstock is pretty much the same. I think this one is a tiny bit thinner than the typical Los Carabeo cardstock, but you know, you won't really notice it. It fans well. Images in the front, you know, they're really cool. They stuck to primary colors, so you just see reds, yellows, greens. Oh, sorry, green is not a primary color. Red, yellow, and blue colors. A little bit of teal, but primarily just those 3. I think it's gorgeous. It has modern images. It is pretty. It is a very, very pretty deck. Look at that. I love how it's dark, and then you get your eyes get fixated on the actual characters and what they're doing and what's going on, you know. So it works. I like this deck. I like this deck a lot. Okay. So if you're looking for a dark theme deck, or you know, I think there are other dark decks that are out there in the market right now. I forgot the name, like Tarot Black or something. I was looking at that, but eventually I decided with Dancing in the Dark Tarot by Los Carabeo. Next up, we have Wheel of the Year Tarot. This is also by Los Carabeo. I love me my Los Carabeo cards. So this one has this orange border. You have different seasons depicted there. This is the backing. I'm gonna shuffle it again. Beautiful. Again, those Carabeo decks come in just this typical talk box. As for the images, I don't know why they have that. I mean, their Universal Tarot also has that, but you know, I've grown to ignore it. But yeah, here are the images. I guess some people would say they're kind of like storybook drawings, you know, and I don't mind that. I mean, my taste index, it has expanded quite a lot, so I do enjoy several different styles. Yes, this is a little bit cartoony, or you know, like story, what do you call those, like fairy tale books style, but I don't mind. It works. I like it. It depends on my mood, you know, so at least I have different choices of decks that I can use depending on what I feel that day, you know. So yeah, this is the Wheel of the Year Tarot by, gosh, who's the actual, Antoniela. The art is by Antoniela Platano, and the deck is created by Maria Carati, again published by Los Carabeo. Next up, we have the Joie, I still don't know how to pronounce it, Joie de Vivre Tarot. This is by Paulina Cassidy, published by US Games. This is a gift by Antiquarian Sense. This reminds me of like those Carabeo decks. Even the cardstock, it's the same. So yeah, cardstock is the same. Even the little white book, you know, but this one doesn't have different languages, so you would have a little bit more information with this deck as opposed to the Los Carabeo LWB. This is a, sorry, excuse me. This is a deck that's quite creepy. but it has pastel colors. Yeah. I am quite creeped out by the images, to be honest, but you know, I think what makes this work is, you know, how gentle it seems because of the colors that they used. I think this deck is meant to kind of like remind you of your childhood, and it does that. Like, reminds me of like Coraline and all of those fantasy books. So yeah, this is it. This is the Joie de Vivre Tarot, which means the joy of living, I think, if I read it correctly. That's by US Games. Next up, we have the Golden Art Nouveau Tarot. Again, Los Carveo. Let's open her up. I'm not a fan of the backing. I haven't changed my mind. Okay, the typical, you know, Los Carveo cards decks come with the Tarosophy card, kind of like their business card, and then the title page. Oh, title card. What I would recommend is, you know, for example, if you lose a card, then you can just write the card here. I mean, the card that you lost, you can just write it here with a Sharpie or something, and then, you know, you can still use your deck. So I am gonna shuffle it again just because. I love. Okay. There. And of course, like the title suggests, it is an Art Nouveau style deck, and it has the beautiful shimmering background. It is gorgeous. I love reading with this deck. I'm gonna show you later the Universal Tarot because that's coming up next, but I prefer this one, to be honest. I'm considering rehoming the Universal Tarot just because I feel like this one, because I was staring at the backing of this one, like with the intricacy of the lines and all of that, you know, I think I usually just, if I'm keen to use a deck that has gold or metallic background in it, I would normally gravitate towards this deck, and that's the reason why I ended up rehoming my, what's the name of that deck? Illuminated Ethereal Visions Illuminated Tarot deck by Matt Hughes. I rehomed that because, you know, it is quite the same as this one. It has the same theme. It is Art Nouveau, and it has gold, but you know, ever since I got this deck, I would just grab it most of the time. So yeah, you can see the box of this one is just, you know, it looks rarely used because I rarely use it. I edged mine in black, which makes it a little bit more elegant and pretty. I prefer the backing on this one though. But as you can see, this is a Universal Tarot deck, but they added metallic background. I guess the reason why I would probably rehome this is because, like I said, I already have the Golden Art Nouveau. This is pretty as well, you know, how it looks like pointillism and all of that. However, I'm not really a fan of the Universal Tarot. I just realized. I don't know, I'm not really a fan of the art style or how they're drawn. Like, I don't know. Maybe that's just me, or maybe I need to use this deck more. But like I said, I ended up rehoming as well my Universal Tarot Mini. But yeah, that is it. Let me just fan it for you. Okay, not so good. But yeah, this is the Golden Universal Tarot. This is by Roberto De Angelis. Next up. Gosh, how many decks have we looked at already? I'm not checking. Next up, we have the Tarot de Saint Croix. This is an independent deck, I believe. This is a gift by Antiquarian, or from Antiquarian Sense. It has this little guidebook here with a lot of information. It is colored as well, which is pretty cool. And then the cards, they are of a different size. It's not your playing card size, it's not Lenormand size, it's not your typical tarot deck size, it's not an oracle deck size. I like it though. It fits my hands perfectly. Oh, can shuffle it well. The backing is reversible. It has that eerie feel to it, so I used this quite a lot during the Halloween period. So there you go. The images are, you know, they're different. They're different. And I think, you know, I wouldn't normally, I don't know, like I wouldn't be drawn or attracted to this deck, but it fell on my lap, and I've gone and used it and have, you know, I've appreciated it. Shiva. So this deck, the Dalai Lama, so it has a lot of information, a lot of meanings, a lot of references. So pretty cool. This is the Tarot de Saint Croix by Lisa de Saint Croix. Okay. Next up, gosh. All right, so we have, I'm gonna check the time first. Okay, 30 minutes. We have Mystic Monday's Tarot, a deck for the modern mystic. This is by Grace Duong. Has this pretty holographic sides. Trust your intuition. Came in with this guidebook. Guidebook is pretty straightforward. I think it goes the same with the art style of the deck, which is minimalist, which is pretty cool. You would have the keywords there, a small representation of the image, and there you go. So this is the upright, and this is the reversed meaning. This is a gift by Velvet Forest Moon, so thank you so much again for sending this deck to me. It's pretty. I love the holographic sides. What else? Yeah, I think, yeah, Shayana of Velvet Forest Moon sent me 2 Oracle decks and 1 Tarot deck, and this is a very, very beautiful one. It's vibrant. I love the minimalist feel. Like I said, my taste in decks, it's very expansive now. I did have a minimalist deck initially. The Neo Tarot, I ended up rehoming it. It just wasn't really resonating with me anymore, and so I was thinking of getting this deck eventually, but you know, Shayana of Velvet Forest Moon sent this to me, so I'm really, really grateful. So thank you so much for that. Which deck next? While I'm fixing this, which one? Okay. Next up, we have the Everyday Tarot by Bridget Essamont. This is quite dusty, but that's actually the design of the, it's not dust, that's kind of like the wispy feathers. It's the design of the cards. Later I'll show you the backing. The guidebook is very straightforward. I think this is a cool deck that you can bring everywhere and anywhere. You know, it's pretty small, it's pretty compact, and you know, if you're still new with tarot, like, you would have all the meanings here. It's just very straightforward. I think this is a cool deck. I don't remember how much I got this for, but I think it's just $10 maybe. I don't remember, but it is a pretty cool deck. It has this matte gilding that is precious. It's just beautiful. It fits my hand perfectly. I have small hands, by the way. So, you know, I would really prefer to get decks that are, you know, just easy to handle, because it's, you know, the bigger ones, I don't get to shuffle them. So this is pretty cool. As for the images, it's just, you know, this majestic purple and gold, which I think is cool as well. And yeah, for some reason, I think this deck really reminds me of Greece or ancient Greece. I don't know, maybe the olives or the grapes that I see in this deck, that, I don't know, that reminds me of, or that makes me think of Greece, like the grapes, you know. There's one character here who reminded me of Pan, I think, or was it Dionysius? I don't remember, but yeah, if you are a fan of like monochromatic decks, or like, you know, decks that stick to just 2 colors and all of that, then, you know, this might be the right one for you. It's small, it's handy, it's not that expensive, and it is pretty. So Everyday Tarot by Bridget Essamont. One downside of this deck is the packaging. I am not a fan of this packaging. As you can see, I'm struggling. So there. Next up, we have the Morgan Greer Tarot in a tin. So this deck is pretty cool. I love how, you know, it is packaged in a tin, which makes it easier to bring it anywhere. Came in with this guidebook. This is by US Games. I think this deck initially came out in the 70s, and you'll soon see why. So yeah, there you go. This, let me shuffle it for you. Okay, has this classic stars background and light blue. So cerulean, I don't know, like not cyan but cerulean, I guess, or light blue color. It's not it doesn't come with borders, and very straightforward. So this is another RWS clone, and I told you earlier that this is a 70s deck, and you will see why. And come on guy, come on. Don't fail me now. And there you go, we have one guy here, the stash. There you go, the stash. It's funny. But I've used this deck quite a lot. I love it. For the longest time, this was my go-to deck. I needed to rest for a little while, and that's why I got the next deck that I'm gonna show you. So yes, that is the Morgan Greer Tarot. This is published by US Games. Next up, ta-da! This is the Smith-Waite Tarot Deck Centennial Edition. This came in with 2 sample art by Pixie, which is, I think, pretty cool. There you go. These are her non-tarot art. The grandma and, you know, the lovers. I love that it came in a tin again. Guidebook is, of course, you know, just not a lot of information. I guess maybe, you know, enough information. It's substantial, but it won't go in depth. For the cards, you know, this is very classic backing. I considered getting the full-sized one, but I didn't want my OG to get jealous, so I decided, you know, I really wanted this deck, but when I saw that it came in with a tin version, I decided to get it. I love how smooth it is. It feels like it's really well made. The cardstock is amazing, even though it's thin. Even though it's small. I think it's pretty cool. You know, I bring this one with me a lot now because my Morgan Greer Tarot deck has retired, for maybe went on a sabbatical for the time being. So this is what I bring whenever I go visit family, so that I can read for myself. There you go. Images are, of course, the same with the RWS, the OG, but you know, this one has a little bit more vintagey vibes. As you can see, like even outside of the borders, it has that kind of like off-white color, which I think is pretty cool. It gives the overall effect of it being a vintage deck. Plus, it is a little bit muted, so none of the yucky yellow, but you know, typical RWS. So gorgeous. I love this deck. I really do. That is the Smith-Waite Tarot Deck Centennial Edition in a tin. Next up, we have a gorgeous White Cat deck. So this is the Tarot White Cats by Los Garbeo. It has the linen box. I think this is the new packaging. It's cool. I love this packaging. I have another one that's like this. I had one that's the Universal Tarot, but like I said, I ended up rehoming it. So there you go. A smaller information, and this deck is actually smaller than the tin decks, you know, but since it's Los Garbeo, it still has that awesome cardstock. And I can still shuffle it, and it's perfect because it's tiny. So whenever I do my readings, and I would get, like, if I would use a tarot deck that has some sort of like a bigger card size, and I would need clarification, I would use this deck just because it's easier and it won't, like, you know, occupy most of my space because I have limited space. As for the images, of course, they're all cats. Even the devil is a cat. So you would have like this border, and you know, a lot of people are put off by borders, but I'm not really bothered by it because I feel like this gives me some sort of like the Renaissance feel. This is also patterned from the Universal Tarot style, like in terms of, like, you know, the angles of the scenes, but you know, it doesn't bother me because of course they're kitty. nice. And I love this card. I love that they didn't show the cat being, you know, pierced by all of those swords or impaled by those swords. I think it's not gory. It's beautiful. I love it. So this is the Tarot of White Cats by Los Carabeo. Next up, I think we just have less than 10 decks, maybe 10 decks or more. So this is the Santa Muerte Tarot. See, this is another Los Carabeo deck, but I think this is from their premium line because, you know, this is it's amazing. It's amazing. Look at that. It's cool. This is by Fabio Listrani. The backing on this one is amazing. Even the guidebook is cool. Has that tea-stained color. You have advice of the dead. Okay, so let's see which card is this. So, 4 swords, advice of the dead, remain calm, wait, and use this moment of stasis to study and think deeply about all that you need for the near future. So you'd have an advice from the dead. That's pretty cool, you guys. And then for the cardstock, wow. I was blown away by this cardstock. Feels so good to the touch. It is quite similar to the Before Tarot, but this has like better quality. I can't explain it. Plus look at the intricacy of the detail here. Like you also have like the Aztec calendar or Olmec calendar behind, so that's pretty cool. And then wait till I show you the images. Gosh, you know, I fell in love with this deck the moment that I unboxed it. It's gorgeous. Look at the vibrancy of that. Beautiful, isn't it? Like the images, wow, it's just gorgeous. I know some people are not into skeletons or, you know, not into a death themed deck, or they shy away from it because of course death, you know, but this is just, it's stunning, man. I love it. Like look at that butterfly. It reminds me of my malachite over here. So yeah, I love it. Like when I read with this deck, I get a lot more information than usual because, you know, there are so many things going on in each of the images or in each of the cards. So I would get more intuitive nudges. Do you know what I mean? There you go. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. So this is the Santa Muerte Tarot by Fabio Listrani. Ooh. And this is by, what's going on? This is by Los Carabeo. Okay. Let's see what's up. What's next? Sorry. Okay. Next up we have the Light Seers Tarot. This is by Chris Ann and published by Hay House. Actually, I have another Chris Ann deck coming maybe in the next week or in the next couple of weeks. It's going to be the Curious Creatures Tarot deck. But I couldn't wait for it. I just wanted to proceed already with this video. So yeah, came in with this thick guidebook, lots of information, and I love it that it has like this affirmation here, so I think it's pretty cool. I'm not gonna go through into it because I think this video is quite lengthy already, but yeah, you would have like a black and white inset of the card and the title here, and the Light Seer for the upright meaning, Shadow Seer for the reverse meanings, and more information. This doesn't come in green. I think the edging of the indie version of this one is similar to this, and you know, the one that you get from Hay House is not edged. I just used a Sharpie to color mine because I think it's gorgeous. As for the cardstock, it is very papery. I don't mind it. It's light, so it's okay. Mine is also the reason why I edged this is because mine has a lot of dings already because I've used this deck a lot. But you know, beautiful backing and beautiful images. Like look at the colors on that. I realized that I'm very much into colored decks. Even, you know, right from the beginning I already know that, but I guess, you know, it just makes me happy. Colored decks, I love it. I love it when everything works in the deck. It makes me feel more connected to it, I guess, because it is, you know, within my aesthetics. This girl kind of looks like me. But yeah, I love it. This is a beautiful deck. A lot of intuitive hits with this one as well. And I love that she used like older men for the kings, you know, and there's a lot of diversity in this deck as well. So I think it's a pretty cool welcoming deck, you know what I mean? What is that? There you go. Yeah, like I said, this is a very used or well loved deck, so it's not the cleanest. I need to wipe some of the wax, because sometimes I would get, you know, the wax of the candle would spill or something. Next up we have the Muse Tarot by Chris Ann. I wasn't really keen on getting this before because I just thought, hey, you know, she used different names for the suits, which is, you know, which could be quite confusing. But I eventually, you know, got the hang of it, I guess. This guidebook doesn't come with an inset or a thumbnail of the images, and it doesn't go like per page. Like for example, you know, it goes straight. It's not like page of emotions and then night of emotions. Like it doesn't, it goes all throughout, like continuously. There you go. For the cardstock, look at that, cute. Similar to the Light Seer Tarot, but I think a little bit thinner. Is it? No. It is quite the same. Very papery as well, and similar to the indie version. The indie version has this kind of like salmon color, and I tried to replicate it, but mine came out a little bit more vibrant than the color that I was going for, but I don't mind it. I love the backing on this one, so feminine, so girly, but it retained the Light Seer Tarot's theme of this one. Cards, there you go. This one has some sort of like a digital collage feel to it. Look at that, Two of Inspiration, Two of Wands. It's not really, I think this is a deck that's not going to be for beginners. This is quite confusing sometimes. Like even if I have used it, materials, I think it's Pentacles. Even if I've used it, Cups for emotions for several times already, you know, sometimes I would stop and just, okay, what is materials? You know, you would still have that. Voices is Swords. So there you go. But the images are beautiful, gorgeous. I love that it has a lot of like flowers in it, a lot of colors, geometric shapes, you know, beautiful. There you go. That is the Muse Tarot by Chris Ann, published by Hay House. Okay, we're getting there. What's next? Okay, next up we have the Starseeker Tarot. This is by Nikki Ferrada. I purchased this off of Etsy. It has this beautiful rose petal feel. It's an independent deck, and I think this is the last independent deck that I will purchase for the year, and second to the last tarot. I love it. I just got this last week, I believe. Guidebook is awesome. It's very thin. It has that, you know the type of paper wherein if you use a sign pen, it will shine. You know, that's how it feels like, and I enjoy it. I like talking about, you know, guidebooks and paper, because I think when a deck creator uses premium or quality, you know, products in the deck, it shows that they, you know, they really pay attention to the details. And then it also came in with this. So this is a star card sticker. And wow, let's talk about the deck, you guys. This is gorgeous. It has this muted, you know, grayish purple color. It's beautiful. And look at the backing. It is just, oh, what's that? Oh, okay, plastic. It's beautiful. This is also matte, and it has that rose petal feel, and it just makes me want to do an ASMR video. I'm not sure if you heard that. I said it makes me want to do an ASMR video just because it feels so good, and I want you guys to feel it as well with my voice. With my voice, but I don't think I can do an ASMR video because, you know, my voice is not cut out for it, I guess. But look at the images on this one. I love how it's dark, but, you know, they're able to highlight. Like, those are kind of like, you know, amethyst crystals that she's stepping on. You know what I mean? And also, one thing that I noticed here is they were able to add texture you know, and the texture being would be I'm gonna show you one, like parts of the universe or parts of the galaxy, like look at this one, the texture that they added here. It's like the night sky with the stars, and her outfit is kind of like what the sea from this side, you know what I mean? So the textures, beautiful. I love the images, I love the representations that she did. I love everything about this deck, to be honest. It's gorgeous. Haven't really used it much, but you know, because like I said, it just arrived last week. But definitely going to be working with this one. This is some beautiful, beautiful deck. Star Seeker Tarot by Nikki Ferrada. Okay, sorry. Whoop, ow. It bites. Next up, we have the Tarot of Mystical Moments. This is by Katrine Welch-Stein. This is a US Games deck. I said initially that I will never get this deck because of the dream quality. I found it kind of creepy, but you know, eventually I decided to get this because, you know, I feel like I will get a lot of intuitive hits with it, and I was not wrong. Plus, this deck has the option for you to use female characters for the male cards, like the male court cards and the emperor, but it's up to you because they provided both male and female. Guidebook is like this, so typical typical US Games guidebook, just, you know, ample information. Yeah, I wanted to show you the Croix tarot, but I ended up rehoming that one as well. I just really was not connecting with it, so I'm pretty sure someone who has more affinity or connection to Crow would probably enjoy it, so I had to rehome it. Now this is the backing. Very simple, you know, intricate design, but you know, the colors are kind of like neutral. It is edged in this silver, like metallic silver color. It is glossy. You know, that's one thing that I would say is it's not my style. But this works because the glossiness actually makes the colors more vibrant. You know, they pop out more. You would have the title there. I think they are color coded. I just don't remember, but I love the representations as well. I love the artist's stake. Look at the Hierophant. You know, it's an owl. You know, sharing knowledge, learning. I love how the Tower is one of my favorite cards of this deck. How the Tower card is being, you know, represented by this building that's crumbling, and at the same time there's someone here who's just doing their best to kind of like prevent this from breaking, but you know, her hair is already on fire, and you know, she's gonna get burned. She's still holding on, and she needs to release it, you know. Ten of Pentacles. I love how the rings here represent kind of like how you know how they check the age of a tree trunk. I think that, you know, that reminds me of legacy and, you know, family, you know, or, you know, the decades, your, yeah, like I said, legacy. It's a pretty cool deck. I love it. I love how it is so different from my style and my aesthetics, but I ended up really loving this deck. Look at that. Gorgeous. So yes, that is the Tarot of Mystical Moments by Katrine Welch-Stein by US Games Systems. Almost there. Oh, okay. So yeah, we're going to include this one as well. This is the Tiny Universal Weight Tarot. This is not the Universal Tarot. This came in with this this, I don't know how to call this one. Like a guide sheet, like a cheat sheet, because it's just so small. But there you go. I'm not gonna take out all of the cards anymore. This is just, you know, this is just a novelty. You know, it's so hard to use, to be honest. I tried, like I would put this in a bag and select the cards, but you know, I have lost cards from, look at that, I can't even put them together. But there you go, that's how small they are. So I've lost several cards before, and I didn't even realize that they were lost. I only found them, or I only Gosh, I can't even. I'm so sorry. I only noticed that I was missing several cards when I found the missing cards. Like, shoot, I didn't even realize that, some of these were under my bookshelf. Like, oh my lordy, you know. And as you can see, it is quite cumbersome to fix. But I guess it's one of those decks that are nice to have, but not really a necessity. But if you're a collector, then it would be nice to have the tiny universal weight tarot keychain. Next up, we have the Luna Soul Tarot. This is by Liminal 11. Boop. It comes with that magnetic closure now at the bottom. I'll show you later the Modern Witch, which doesn't have that. Okay, what happened here? It sometimes it sticks to the sides. If you can see, like the inside is pretty. This deck is not reversible, as you can see. It came in with this guidebook, similar to the Modern Witch production of the guidebook. The hardbound cover. This one is colored. They have 2 additional cards, the Wu Wei card and the Duality card. I love it. It's pretty. Has a lot of information, like, would be fun to read. Cardstock. I like this cardstock. To be honest, I'm a fan of this deck. I love it. Yeah, I love how it's papery, but the quality, the good quality paper. It is matte. I love that the colors are pastel. Has very gentle energy, this deck. Yes, although it is a lot thinner than the Modern Witch Tarot deck, I still find it difficult to shuffle it this way. So I just try not to. I avoid it altogether and shuffle it this way because I can do it that way. But this is easier to handle, so much easier to handle than the Modern Witch Tarot because it's matte and it's not as thick and it's not slippery. I love that this deck is so diverse. I love it. I know I'm saying I love it to all of my decks, but I mean, these guys are still with me, so it means a lot. Because like I remember the Crow Tarot, I used it maybe thrice or maybe 4 times, and then I ended up rehoming it. I think the Intuitive Heart, maybe I used it just twice or something. So yeah, I love this deck. I love the energy, the vibe of it. I love the colors. I love that it's so diverse, and the meanings they add more, like how they represented the cards, would give you a little bit more intuitive push or hits. Beautiful. This is the Luna Soul Tarot by Liminal 11 by Darren Schill and Mike Medaglia. Beautiful, and I love that the packaging is this way. Cool. Because the Modern Witch Tarot doesn't have a closure at the end, so if you store it this way and you pull it, there, et voila, that's what it happens. That's what happens with it. Sorry. Okay. This one has the Everything is Fine card. This deck is by Lisa Sturl. Like I said earlier, it has the same hardcover guidebook. This is not colored. Oh. It has a lot of information. And look at the cards, man. They're super thick. They are super thick. I can do this, but I can't, like, there's no way that I can shuffle this this deck unless I do it sideways like this. And even then, it's it's still a challenge. But other than that, this deck also, if I try to shuffle it this way, it kind of flies off because it is very, very slippery. So you have to really be mindful of how you shuffle. What's the other deck that's pretty slippery? I don't remember which one. I handled a deck just recently that's kind of like this one. I just don't remember right now. But yeah, I love the backings on this one though. I love that it's reversible, and you know, because I read reversals from time to time. But for the collective, I just, you know, read upright. I love that this is a modern deck. Of course, it says Modern Witch. And I think this would appeal to, you know, Gen Zs and millennials because of the outfits. It's universal. Why did I say universal? It's diverse and very relatable because it is a modern deck. You know, people at the festival looks like. Victory, V for victory, and you know, it's very cool. So that's it. That's the Modern Witch Tarot, published by Liminal 11. This is a deck created by Lisa Sturl. Okay, I'm gonna put this one right here. Okay, next one is the Modern Love Tarot by Ethany. I got this deck because I wanted a love theme deck, but you know, to be honest and unfortunately, in as much as I would love to fall in love with this deck, because look at the guidebook, man. Like Ethany put in a lot of effort in the creation of this guidebook. It's whoa, like her effort is 120% perhaps, me, you know, even more. I love that it's colored. I love that she has different meanings for each of the cards depending on like your situation in your love relationship or in your relationship. But I just can't seem to. The guidebook is amazing. It also has that rose petal finish. I just can't seem to, you know, connect with this deck. I don't understand why. Gorgeous hot pink color with the metallic foiling of the logo, or the sigils, or what do you call that? The icons. I'm kind of like tired from talking for how many, like maybe over an hour now. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know why I can't seem to connect with this deck. I guess because I feel like the images are dark. I do love the representations, or you know, their interpretation for each of the cards. It's just that I feel like the vibrancy, it's lacking vibrancy. You know what I mean? Like I love this Eight of Wands. I love the Magician. I love these two, and I love that it's a diverse deck. Look at that, beautiful. It's just the color, you know. I guess if oh, maybe that's because I preferred vibrant decks. It is vibrant though. It's just lacking maybe the saturation or the contrast. I don't know. It's just a little bit dark for me, and I notice like I'm trying my best to connect with this deck, but you know, perhaps I should use it more often, I guess, but we'll see. I'll give it another year or several months to see if, you know, if this deck and I will eventually bond. But yeah, next up we have the Moonchild Tarot. Gosh, you know what? This is a stunning deck. This is such a beautiful, beautiful deck. I look at the attention to detail, you know? Look at the backing. Oh gosh. So it has this rose petal finish that's not sticky at all. Beautiful. And look at that. Look at that. That's just gorgeous. You know, this image, it's awe-inspiring. There you go. I'm gonna put this here. Came in with this guidebook, so it has a thick guidebook, a chunky guidebook with a lot of information, Reader's Digest paper, quality paper, amazing, a lot of information, a lot of keywords. You know, you have open-ended questions, astrological associations, gemstones, upright meanings reversed, and you know, the devil. Like they described what the character is doing in the image, or how the image is created. They have information here, so it's pretty cool. So there, you are the dance of light and shadow, and yes, look at that. Ooh, this is such a beautiful deck. This is my dream deck, to be honest. I love this deck. It's beautiful. I love the white background with just the, you know, golden foiling. and the moon faces. Very simple, beautiful, you know. The edging is also not the shiny edging, it's beautiful, it's the matte kind. As for the images, my gosh, these are just divine. They are stunning. Of course, it's digitally manipulated collage. But man, like the colors are gorgeous. It takes you to places. That's what I would say. Like whenever I do my readings with this one, I just, you know, I get lost in the images, and sometimes I would get more hits. So yeah, there you go. Beautiful, beautiful deck. The Moonchild Tarot by Danielle Noel. Oh my gosh, I forgot to mention the artist's name. This is by Danielle Noel. And she also created my soul deck. This is the Starchild Tarot Akashic version. I got this first before the Moonchild, although, you know, I don't want to use the word lusting over the Moonchild Tarot deck for the longest time. I got this one when in fact I wasn't really keen on this deck, and it's quite strange, but you know, eventually I found out why. I've been working with Angel Metatron. I have an affinity with Archangel Metatron, and you know, this deck, of course, Akashic, you know, him being the keeper of the Akashic records, you know, maybe that's the reason why I was drawn to get this deck. It came in with this guidebook, so it has a lot of information here, you know, chakras, gemstones, astrological association symbols, guides, angel guides here. So a lot, or angels and ascended masters for the guides. A lot of information. It doesn't fit in the guidebook though, so it came in separately. Sorry, it doesn't fit in the box, but it came in, you know, separately. But wow, look at that. It's just, this deck feels so good to the touch. It's just perfect in my hands. Like I can't even explain it. I was hoping I would get the same feel with the Starseeker Tarot. Yes, I love the feel of that deck in my hands, but this one, I don't know, it's not rose petal. It's matte. It's a smooth matte. And this is rose petal. This is smooth matte. The Starseeker is smooth matte. No, the cards for the Starseeker is also similar to the box, which is rose petal. And I don't know, maybe I haven't used it yet, you know, to kind of like have a feel for the actual cardstock of that deck. But this one I have used like consecutively, like maybe for the whole month I just used this deck. I would, you know, just grab it just for the sake of it, even if I don't have anything to ask. I would just go sit here, read, you know, read for myself, like do more than one daily pulse, you know what I mean, just so that I can use this deck. And that's because I do love it. Initially I was apprehensive to get it because I feel like it's, you know, pippish, and it is, but you know, I love this deck. It is my soul deck. I really connected with this deck instantaneously. It was just immediate, you know. Oh, and by the way, this deck has different keywords. They changed it, so instead of, this is 13, instead of death they have transformation. So there you go. Beautiful galactic deck. I love it. So that is the Starchild Tarot Akashic version by, again, Danielle Noel. Let me know what you think, guys. Which deck is your favorite? Do you have most of it? Do you have, I don't know, like do we have the same taste in decks or whatnot? But yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and if you reached the end, I don't know, maybe put the Saturn emoji just because just so I know if you reached the end. If you stuck with me all throughout, I want to say thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and maybe give this video a like. I hope I see you again soon. Take care, guys. Bye.